So I said I wasn't going to talk about this anymore, but I kind of had to come out and do it. So I lied about that because I didn't realize how bad this torn hamstring was for Tyron Smith. This is like career ending. And the reason I say that is because if you actually go and look up the information regarding of the severity of it, basically the muscle came off the bone for what happened in that practice, and that's not good. It isn't. And unfortunately, there are a bevy of issues that I have with the situation, and it's not Tyron's fault. It isn't. Okay, like the guy's got so much mileage on his body at this point to where, this was bound to happen. And for the crowd that's like, oh, it's he's still got a bargain contract. That doesn't matter anymore. If he's not able to play football games, that doesn't mean anything. You can't gamble on this guy anymore. 2020 he played 2 games. 2021 he played 11, I believe, and now he's not going to play at all. I'm sorry, Tyron, it's time to go, and I feel bad because I didn't want it to end this way. It really hurts seeing him go out like this, but it's time to hang him up. I don't like seeing guys retire because of injury. I like them gracefully retiring, and it's just that's what hurts about this is because it's not going to be the fact that, okay, he's retiring on his own accord. He's doing it because I think he has to at this point. The man has suffered so many injuries that, yeah, that's it. And this really hurts the Cowboys, but again, they should have known about this. And I'll talk about that in just a second. So I want to once again thank Tyron Smith for everything he's done for the Dallas Cowboys. He definitely deserves to go into the Ring of Honor for all that he's done, for how long he's done it, at the level he did it at. And this really puts a damper on the season for many because of the fact of how the Cowboys are going to go about it. And I'm going to talk about, again, that in a second. So this puts us in a tough bind for 2022, like I said. Your offensive line now is in a complete state of disarray. You now have question marks at every position group except for your right guard. Now we get into the part where I get upset with how the front office and this coaching staff has handled things. Now, I understand that people won't like what I have to say, and we don't know what these young players can do. Understandable. But here's the thing, and let's just have an honest conversation here. So at left tackle, you have your coaching staff ready to play Josh Ball, a guy that got Tyler Smith hurt in the preseason, which we don't know the severity of his injury, which could be what's holding him out and causing McGovern to start. But, and I said this in the initial video that I did, if the Dallas Cowboys are electing to purposefully go with Connor McGovern, even though the man has shown better film than McGovern at left guard, that's a problem. This coaching staff would have failed on a fundamental level to where, you are literally screwing your quarterback at this point. And this isn't me trying to, say, oh, it's, Dak's fault or anything. Like, it isn't, obviously. But it really feels like the team is setting him up to fail. I get it, it's a team sport, but we have to look at how the Cowboys approach things. They have purposely got worse with their weapons on offense. They purposely decided to change up their offensive line. They knew for a matter of fact, okay, that this injury was going to happen. And, it sucks so much because of the fact that this coaching staff has not shown a life of going about a scenario like this. Maybe Matt Valetico was the backup swing tackle. Maybe he wasn't. And apparently they're looking out in free agency, and by the time this is over, they probably sign a veteran swing tackle to a 1-year deal. Cool, I don't really care. because that doesn't help you in the long term. You drafted Tyron Smith to play on the left side of your line, whether it be guard, which I personally think is best for him, or at left tackle. Now, you don't have an excuse not to play him. If you are not playing Tyron Smith, that is a fundamental failure by this coaching staff. Number one, because you don't, in a scenario like this, you cannot afford to have him sit on the sidelines. Okay? And so that's why I'm a bit upset with this coaching staff. Secondly, and most importantly, this front office needs to seriously reevaluate how they go about things. They can no longer be reactive, they have to be proactive. Unfortunately, this will fall on deaf ears. People will complain that I'm being too negative, but let's just be real with it, guys. Okay? The Dallas Cowboys front office had every indication that Tyron Smith, who has not played a full healthy season since 2015, that maybe, just maybe, we need to sign a veteran tackle. Maybe, just maybe, we need to go into the draft and possibly invest at that tackle spot, which you can argue they did. But still, it felt like they were missing a veteran swing tackle just in case. In the same offseason, you elected to move on from Lyle Collins, and Connor Williams. I understand that us fans have certain opinions on the two, but we got to remember, you still had problems at center. You still had fundamental problems with how the offensive line was handled on a coaching staff level. And you still did not get adequate players to replace these positions to ensure that your offense would be just fine. Okay, and there are trade options out there, which I personally would explore. Isaiah Wynn from the Patriots, he's not going to have a big asking price. And you have the cap space to make a maneuver. And the thing is like, I get he's had injury concerns. If you throw a guy like Tristan Hill in a 5th round pick, that'll be worth it. In my personal opinion, even if it's for a year or two. Because your 5th round picks don't amount to anything. Maybe DeRon Bland can change it, but but no, like, you have options out there and you are not doing anything. So here's the thing, right? We don't know what Josh Ball can be. We don't know what Tyron Smith could be. We don't know what Matt Waletzko could be. We don't know still what the hell we're getting out of Terrence Steele or Tyler Biadasz full term. And you're going to roll the dice, which could inadvertently hurt your quarterback. And then you further the case of we shouldn't have paid him. You are purposely putting him in that position, and I know that for a matter of fact. So here's my ideal situation. At left tackle, I personally go out and make a trade. Tevin Jenkins, the guy from Chicago who played left tackle, I know they put him at guard, but he has played left tackle, and he actually played pretty well, and he's only 24 years old. Apparently, he's on the trade block. I would throw a 3rd-round pick at him and maybe a player. Isaiah Wynn is a very notable name. I definitely would throw Tristan Hill or some other player and a 5th-round pick to acquire him. Sign him to a nice little deal. Got my left tackle now. Then at left guard, I'm playing Tyron Smith. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If you're like, well, I want to play Connor McGovern, well, here's the thing. You have to put Tyron Smith on the football field, which you can put him at left tackle, but that's not his fault that the coaching staff put him in the situation he was to where he was not ready to play left tackle. Like, I get it, he played it in college, but it's different when you're in the NFL, and it's so much that irks the living hell out of me about this whole thing, right? And then at center, sure, you can roll with Biadasz, but I would personally prefer Farniak because he's shown better film than him. But whatever, just keep Biadasz in there for now. Zach Martin, this is one thing I will say on Zach Martin that pisses me off, but I'm going to tell you something. I get it. Listen, this is a DEFCON 1 level situation, right? To where you literally need help at your tackle spots. And I'm not saying he goes plays left tackle, but if you want to put Terrence Steele over the left tackle, like, okay, maybe he's your best option if you're electing not to do anything. But at the same time, the one thing that pisses me off is these players, they shouldn't be like, well, I don't want to play at this position because I don't feel like it. Motherfucker, your team is more important than what you personally want to do. But with that being said, I understand the concern. When you kick a guy out that played a certain position, you can increase the risk of injury. And I'm not trying to sit here and justify that. But what I'm saying is that a team should not sit there and be like, all right, Zach, you know what? That's okay. But to be honest with you, Zach has kind of earned that right because he's the best guard in football. But like, but still, that kind of irks the shit out of me. Seriously. Like, it's just like, I don't believe players should have this ability to be like, yeah, I don't want to play that position. No, you do what the team asks you to do. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be pulling this bullshit. I'm just being real with you. Right tackle, Terrence Steele's the guy going forward unless you get someone else in there. But I just don't know, guys. Like, this is something that's really bad, and this Cowboys front office is not being proactive with it. We'll see if they go sign like an Eric Fisher probably or someone else, but that doesn't solve your problem. If Tyler Smith doesn't get game reps, how the fuck is he? How is he gonna get better? Unless he's that bad, apparently, to where you're like, well, you know, we can't play him. What? What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Like, seriously, we just need to get him out there. Because you're probably going to have to spend another first-round pick on a goddamn tackle. Because you didn't address this. You had multiple years to address this. We have talked about this, and I don't give a shit if people are like, see, this is why we should have drafted Rashawn Slater. I don't give a fuck about that because you got Micah Parsons, which was still the correct pick. But this is what the worst-case scenario could have been, and here we are. So I'm not gonna, continue to bore you guys with just my ramblings, but yeah, guys, this is not good, and we will see how we need to look at these players this upcoming week, because after that, then we're on to Tampa Bay, and I'm so worried that our quarterback is gonna get hurt this year. I would not be shocked if he got hurt this year. And you can't be like, well, he's injury prone, because it depends on how many hits he's getting. If he's like keeps getting hammered, I'm going to tell you this right now. If we have Josh Ball out there and he gets Dak Prescott hurt, I'm seriously like going to lose my fucking mind because of the fact that this front office purposely put him in this situation. And I'm going to, McCarthy's going to have to answer for this. Like, we can talk about the front office all this time, but Mike McCarthy, his O-line coach, are making these decisions. Come on, Mike. You got to get your act together, and if you are not putting the best players out on the field, sir, you need to go. I understand that he's not at fault for not getting the players, because that's the front office's job. But at the same time, with the players and the tape we've seen, you have plenty of options. Go get that shit done. Well, anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one.